Hello everyone, I am Kalpataru Agrawal. I am pursuing BTech in Engineering Physics from IIT Roorkee. Today I am going to show you how to find nth power of a number using assembly language programming. So basically here we are going to use 8085 programming to run this program. So first you have to know that what is a power to a number. So if we are given to find a to the power b, then it means we have to multiply a by itself n number of times. Then we will get the answer. But in assembly language programming, we can not directly multiply a number. So here we are going to add a number, that number of times, so that it will give us the nth power of number. So to explain the working, I will first going to show you a flow chart, some flow charts, and then I will going to explain you the code which I have run to simulate the assembly language. Okay, so first we start the program. After start, we first of all we take input and input of base and store it in B. Then we take input of exponent and store it in C. Then we set d is equal to 1. Here d is going to be our variable which will store our answer. So initially its value is 1. Then we set a is equals to 0. A here is our accumulator that will be working as our current variable, like it will accumulate the things. So then after that we will assign e is equals to b. After assigning e is equals to, here we are going to use e as a counter for this loop, so that we can run this loop b number of times. Here we are running, what we are doing, we are adding d b number of times, so that this gives us output as if we are multiplying d by b. So we just assign e is equals to b. Then first step is a is equals to a plus d. Then we decrement e by 1, and then we check if e is equals to 0 or not. So if e is not equal to 0, then we will again run the same loop, and we will run this loop until e becomes 0. That means that this loop will run b a number of times, and which will give a is equal to b times d. So after that, we will assign d is equals, if e becomes 0, so we go in this direction, and we will assign d is equals to a. Then we will decrement c. So we are decreasing c by 1 because we have to do this thing c number of times, because we have to find b to the power c. That means we have to multiply b c number of times to get b to the power c. So by decreasing c here by 1, then we will check if c is equals to 0, and if it is not equal to 0, we will run this loop again until it becomes 0. As soon as c becomes 0, we go in this direction and we output a, and then we end our program. So basically this program runs fine. But the previous flowchart had one and two limitations. If the initial value of base, suppose if the initial value of base is given 0, then program will not work properly. You can see that if base is given 0, then what will happen? Look, we will start the program, then it will come here, a will be 0, then e will be, value of e will be 0. So when we run this statement, a will become a plus d, then e will become minus 1. And then if we check if e is equals to 0, then it will give false. So, and it will get decreasing, and the loop will go on. So this program will not run properly if initial value of b is given 0. Similarly, if the initial value of exponent is given 0, then also program will not work properly. You can clearly see that if suppose if b is not 0, but c, the value of c is 0, then program will come here. Then this loop will run b number of times, very fine. But when we go in this direction, then c will become minus 1. And as soon as c become minus 1, it will not never be equal to 0, and it will run this loop infinitely, and c will keep on decreasing. Thus if c is equal to, then also it will not, the program, our program will not work. So to take out these limitations, we have to change our flowchart a little. So what I will do, that what we will do, that what we will check this condition in start of the loop. Instead of checking it in the end of the loop, we will check this condition at the start of the loop. So if initial value is 0, then also the loop will not run and it will just go further. So the corrected flowchart is this. So here we will start the program. Then we will take the input in the same way. Up till here, the two programs are completely similar. We will take input of base and put it in B. Then we will take input of exponent and put it in C. Then we will set D is equals to 1 as our initial answer. Then we will set A is equals to 0. Here A is equals to 0 might seem unnecessary, but later when you will see the code, then you will know the importance of this A is equals to C. So just ignore it for now. Then we will check C if C is equals to 0. So the second problem we had was, if the exponential was given 0, then our program was running infinitely. But here you can see if C is given 0, then in the starting only, this the program will go in this direction, and A will be assigned D, that is D is equals to 1. Then A will be 1, and A will be outputted, that is the 1, which is the correct answer for any base. Like A to the power 0 is always 1, except that 0 to the power 0 is not defined, so we will not consider that case. So if in any case, if C is 0, then it will output 1, which is the correct answer, and it will end the program. So one problem is solved. Now suppose if none of them is 0, then C will not be 0 initially, and we will go in this direction. Then we will assign A is equals to 0. Then further we will assign E is equals to B. Here E is equals to B is E is used as counter for this loop, and we will be checking E initially instead of checking at the end. We will check the this condition initially. So E will be checked, like if E is equals to 0. If E is not equal to 0, then it will go in this direction. Then D will be added to A, E will be decremented, and then again the condition is checked. So this loop will run B number of times, and we will get the answer A is equals to B times D. Then as soon as E becomes 0, that is the loop has run B number of times, we will go in this direction. D will be equal to A and C will be decremented. And again we will check if C is equals to 0. After this, this flowchart works same as the previous one. Now let us check if base is 0 and exponential is not. So suppose we base is 0, then we come here, C is not 0, so we will go in this direction, and A will be set 0 and E will be set B. So B, we are taking B as 0. So as we are checking this condition initially instead of in the end, so this loop will not run and it will go directly in this direction. So it will be giving answer that look, we have assigned A equal to 0 here. So after going through this, as B is initially 0, so it will go directly to in this direction. So D will be assigned also equal to A, that is D will be assigned 0. So after that we decrement C by 1, and no matter how many number of times we do this, D and A will always remain 0. So as soon as C becomes 0 after this loop, it will never enter to this loop in this case because B is 0. So as soon as C becomes 0, we will exit this condition in this direction and go towards this. Then A will be equal to D, and D, as you know, that is assigned equal to 0. So A will be, we will be giving output A, that is 0, which is correct because our base was 0. So 0 to the power any exponential should give value 0. So our output will be 0, and then we will end the program. So I guess that it must be completely clear. Now let us move towards the code, the simulation code which I have done in this simulation. Okay, so this code do exactly the same thing that which the previous flowchart was doing. So let me explain. Like first of all, we take input. So we take input from 00 input IO port. we take first of all the input of base, then we store value of base into into B, sorry. So because the accumulator of our accumulator in this program is A, so by default all the values get stored in A. So we store that input value into B. Then we take another input from IO port 01, and then we will store its value in C here. Okay, first we define D is equals to 1. Okay, that is the initialization of answer, and then we store the value of exponent in C. Then we set A is equals to 0. So here guys, uh, I told you that importance of A equal to 0 will be given in the code. So that was where to set A equal to 0 was important, because when we use, now we are comparing C with C. So we have to check whether C is equals to 0 or not. So here this CMP function compares the given register with the accumulator. So that's why we have to assign A is equals to 0, because here we have to compare C with 0. So that's why we have to assign A is equals to 0 before the loop starts. So now I think you must know the importance of that A is equals to 0 that I was saying. Then we will check in the starting of the loop if the last comparison was true, like if it was 0 or not. So if it was 0, then we will directly go to the output module, and we will then simply st- put the answer in A and output A. Then we will terminate the program. But if it is not 0, then we will go further. Then we will store A is equals to 0. So you can see, first of all, we did was we uh, stored A is equals to 0. Then we compared C, and if it was 0, we went to the output, and if it is not, we then go to the inside of the loop, and then we set A is equals to 0. After that, we set E is equals to B. Here we set E is equals to B. Then what we do, we compare E. So here guys, you can see that I already what I already did is I set the value of accumulator equal to 0. So when I compare E, then it will only give 0 if it will only be giving it will be compared with 0. So that's why this inner loop will be working. Like when we when we run this, like JZ will only be giving true if E was equal to 0. So if here JZ checks that if E is equals to 0, then we will jump to power E, like power end. So we will go towards the end of this loop, and what we will do is we will move D. We will store value of A in D. We will decrement C, and then we will jump to power. So we skipped the loop. Like if E is not equal to 0, then what will happen? So what we are going to do, we will add D. So add D. What add D does? Adds uh, add D adds A and D, and then store the value in A. So add add D stores value of accumulator plus D into accumulator. Then what we will do, we will decrement E. After decrementing E, we will unconditionally jump to the multiply loop, so that we will be running this loop. So here we are decrementing E. So last thing which was registering the register Z was this decrement E. So after this when we will be checking JZ, so it will be using E to compare to check this condition. So this loop will run E number of times, and as soon as E becomes 0, it will jump to power E, power end. Then what we will be doing, that we will be moving a value of A into D and decrementing C. Then we will be jumping to power, and then the condition was again checked. and it will be checking. It will be considering this JZ will be considering C because last decrement was C. So this process go on until C becomes 0. So as soon as C becomes 0, JZ will be true and it will jump to OP, that is output. So we will be going to output that we will be storing D into A, that is the accumulator, and then we will be outputting our answer and finally terminating our program. Here you can see I've given an output, an example input. So I have given a base equal to 3, and then second input is exponent. So I have given exponent equal to 5, and we are outputting our answer in this in the IO port 02. So IO port 02 has value 243. That means that 3 to the power 5 is 243, which is correct, and this verifies our program, and it shows that this program runs correctly for calculating a to the power n, and it also takes all the input, not only the positive integers. I mean that it will also tackle if you give 0 as inputs. So that is it. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.